Hi guys and welcome back to TomTalks. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And today we're going to be talking about the Man Utd men's team. Now, I did plan to do a monthly update on my thoughts, but I missed out on August, so we're going to be doing August and September in one video. And to summarise, it's not been great. It's really not been great for the men's team, and I have a lot of concerns about how the season's going to pan out. So, first of all, let's look into the transfers that were done between the start of the season and obviously the end of the transfer window. We bought two players, Sekou Kone, who is a young CDM who plays for Mali, but he is part of the first team squad. So I do think he will break into the team at some point, but I am interested to see how he works out. There was quite a lot of interest in him. He helped Mali come third at the Under-17 World Cup last year, and also was named in the best 11 at the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. So he's quite a well-respected youth international player. And I think the CDM position is a problem one. So I think he might get some game time this season, but we'll have to see. We also, of course, have signed Man Utd, who is a very talented CDM, I think he was the best tackler in Ligue 1 last year. So a lot of pedigree for him, Uruguay international as well. It's not really worked out so far, though, has it? It looks like he's adapting to the league. He did struggle a lot against Spurs and in his couple of substitute appearances. But I think he's going to take some time to adapt to the league, to be honest. So I'm not really going to look too much into his performances so far. In terms of the outgoings, Kundo Palestri has left United to join Panathinaikos. It just never really worked out for him at United. There was a lot of calls for him to get chances, and he did, and he looks okay. He's obviously a Uruguay international, but it's never really worked out for Palestri, which is a shame. We got rid of a couple youngsters like Maxi Oyedeli. Never heard of him, but he is a Poland under-21 international. Fish, who is someone I have heard of, but he just never quite broke through at United. He's gone to Cardiff in the Championship, I believe. Hannibal Mejbre's gone. Again, someone who had talent, who had ability, but just couldn't quite make it work for long enough, and there's been problems with his attitude apparently when he was on loan at Sevilla last year. And he's gone to play for Burnley in the Championship. And he did well in the Championship at Birmingham City, so I wish him the best of luck. The big one, though, is Scott McTominay, because Scott McTominay is a player that I've criticised. I've never seen him as someone who should be starting week in, week out. But he's a very good squad player. He can get a goal. He is somebody who knows what it means to be a United player. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He plays for the badge. And that's something I always respect in a player, whatever their abilities. So I thought he could be a good squad player. But he's gone to Napoli and he's doing all right there. He's scored his first goal. And it seems like he could do well there alongside Scottish teammate Billy Gilmore. And then we've had a few loans as well. Lots of youngsters going on loan. In particular, Radek Vitek, who potentially could be a goalkeeper number one in the future. Reece Bennett, young defender's gone on loan. But probably the biggest loan of them all, of course, is Jadon Sancho, who's gone on loan to Chelsea. And yeah, he's doing all right there. But glad he's left United because he needed to go. It's not permanent, but I can imagine that Chelsea will probably snap him up because he's doing all right there. It's a shame he couldn't do all right for us, but again, another player with attitude issues. We needed to get Sancho out the door, really. So, let's get into the season. We started off with a 1-0 win at Fulham. I thought we dominated, we played decently, but this game showed something that we have struggled with this season, and that's scoring goals. Joshua Zirkzee came off the bench and scored a nice goal set up by Alejandro Garnacho. And yeah, big moment to score on your debut, of course, and I hoped it would be the start of something. And a clean sheet as well. Unfortunately, August was not a good month. We lost 2-1 to Brighton. Bit of an unlucky one, really. I mean, Diallo equalises after the early goal. Then Garnacho puts it in the net, but Zirkzee, who's in an offside position, tries to get the goal himself, which is a bit stupid, bit selfish, but again, something he'll learn, but it's ruled out for offside. And then later on, I think it's João Pedro scores. Brighton get the win. Disappointed result, obviously, but it's just one of those ones. You don't look too much into it. You learn from it and you hopefully improve. But then we play Liverpool next, and we get just played off the park, really. 3-0, really poor performance, defensively poor. We had a few chances. Zirkzee did not take those chances, and it was just a poor performance, and it was a poor start to the season. But we have the international break. We come back, and we get a win at Southampton. And Southampton has not been great, but, you know, we give away a penalty. Onana saves the penalty. De Ligt gets his first goal. Nice header. Rashford scores as well. Really good finish from him. And, you know, Casemiro, who was really poor against Liverpool, sets up Garnacho. So you look at that and you think, okay, this is something to build on. We then smash Barnsley 7-0. I know Barnsley are in League One. I know it was the League Cup, but 7-0 is never a result to be sniffed at. You know, Rashford gets 2, Garnacho gets 2, even Anthony got a goal. But surprisingly, Christian Eriksen picked up a few as well. Bruno, who had been kind of disappointing, picked up a few assists as well. It was a good performance to get the confidence up of a lot of players. But unfortunately, those 2 games, that was the best run we've had this season, because despite playing really well, despite numerous opportunities to score, we couldn't get past Crystal Palace. That finished 0-0. We then again dominate. Christian Eriksen puts us in front, but FC Twente get a draw against us in the Europa League, which is a disappointing start to that campaign. And then, of course, the Tottenham game. We lost 3-0. We were completely played off the park. Really poor defensively. Midfield, not well structured, not defending very well. And up front, what chances we have, we didn't take. Garnacho hit the post, I think, but yeah, just not a good performance. And of course, Bruno Fernandes getting sent off was sort of the cherry on the cake to the badness, really. And at this point, we're not looking good. We're 13th in the league. We've not had a great start to the Europa League. We're through in the League Cup, of course, and we've got Leicester, who have shown that they can compete. They're not maybe... They're a team we should be beating, but they're a team that will cause you problems, as they showed by drawing against Spurs, the comeback that almost led to a point against Arsenal, you know, and I think they gave Villa a bit of a tough time as well. But it's the League Cup, so again, who knows? But yeah, it's not been a good start. It really hasn't. And there are now calls for Erik ten Hag to be sacked. And from what I'm hearing, he has Porto on Wednesday, and then he's got Villa at the weekend, which are 2 quite difficult games, really. Porto, one of the most difficult opponents we'll have to face in the Europa League. Very good side at that level. And of course, Villa have had a really good start to the season. Drew with Ipswich, of course, but like, you know, Ollie Watkins up front, John Duran as well. Really pacey down the wings. Quite well-structured defence. Very good goalkeeper in Emi Martinez. They are going to be a problem. So Ten Hag does have 2 very difficult games that he has to win. But United just... Again, you know, you can comment on a lot of things. You can say the football's not great. You can say the style of play doesn't work. You can say the manager isn't as good as he should be. But we've been here before. You know, manager has a pretty good first season. Second season is usually a bit of a mixed bag, but good enough to see them through. And then the third season, it just crumbles apart and they get sacked. It happened to Ollie, happened to Jose. Louis van Gaal didn't have a chance for a third season, and obviously David Moyes didn't. History's just repeating itself, and I've got to say, I think the players just aren't good enough, really. I mean, Martinez is a very good defender, but he's not looked his best. Diogo Dalot has been quite poor, considering he was consistently one of our best performing players in recent years. Casemiro's been poor. Ugarte's not quite adapted. Mainu has been alright. I think he might be injured now, which is a bit of a concern, but it seems like Mainu is not... Maybe he's a bit burnt out. I don't know. Christian Eriksen has shown quality in moments, which is why he forced his way back into the team. But like his set pieces were awful against Spurs. They really were. Casemiro has been really poor. He's had moments like his passing ability in certain games, like the pass that he put through to Garnacho against Southampton, but he looks like he's not really able to compete at this level anymore. Bruno has not had a great start to the season. Mason Mount and Rasmus Højlund are both injured and look like they need time to adjust. Garnacho, I've got to say, for the most part, has been very good. I can't really complain about him. Rashford has had good games, but he's also had games where he's been a bit anonymous or not quite at the standard. Diallo's been decent, but I think he is lacking a bit in terms of, like, you know, creating goals or having a shot at goal. Matthias de Ligt has been solid at the back, but again, it's quite a leaky defence. Mazwari has been really good. I like him. I think he's a very good player. And Xerxes he had a good start, but he's struggling. He's not taking his chances, and he needs to take his chances. I mean, fortunately for him, Højlund's not managed to have any impact when he's come on. But yeah, he's not taking his chances, and that's quite worrying for a forward. I know he's not somebody who scores like 20, 30 goals a season, but you need to the chances he's getting, he needs to take. I know Højlund had a difficult start, but, you know, he started well and then just... I don't know. Is there any other players to talk about? Any Yoro's obviously still injured. Luke Shaw's injured. Having them back in the team, I'm sure, will help. Anthony has played games, but he's not great, is he? I think Anthony probably will go next season. But yeah, the players just haven't been up to standard, or there's been moments, or there's been games where they've done well. I think our top three players have been Mazwari, Garnacho, and probably Matthias de Ligt, maybe Amad Diallo. But yeah, Toby Collier's looked good in the Charlton game. I think that's good that he can play at left back and he's got adaptability, but he didn't look good in the Liverpool game, did he? Yeah, it's really not looking good. So I'm going to sort of finish things off. Do I think we should sack the manager? Personally, not at the moment, because for starters, who are we going to bring in? You know, there's people saying Van Nistelrooy should take over as assistant. Is Van Nistelrooy good enough to manage Man United? He did quite well at PSV, but I don't know if he's good enough. I'd be happy with him as like an interim, but we need to bring somebody in. People have said Wayne Rooney, which I think is that's not even worth sort of reflecting on, really, is it? I've seen something about Simone Inzaghi coming in at the end of the season. Inzaghi's a decent manager, but I don't think he's the man to take us back to competing for titles and getting, personally. I could see him like staying here for a few years, then losing the job again. Pochettino, I think, probably would have been a good choice, but he's obviously managing the US now. So yeah, I'd probably stick with Ten Hag at the moment. If it gets really bad, then obviously, yeah, he's going to have to go. But, you know, he had a very good first season, got us in the top four and won a trophy. Last year wasn't great, but he did win us a trophy. He's the only manager outside of Ferguson to win trophies in back-to-back years. I think this is a bad patch, but I think if he can turn it around, I think he deserves to stay in the job for a bit longer. But I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, these 2 games are crucial now. He has to get results. He's got to beat Porto, really, after the poor start in the Europa League, and he's got to beat Villa. But those are not going to be easy games to win. So, yeah, I think that's all to say, really. Yeah, that's kind of all to say, really. It's been a really disappointing start to the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And you can watch my prediction video, which I will link at the end of the video, to see what I thought Man United will do this year. Spoiler alert, I don't think they're going to finish where I said they would. Quickly to summarise the league, I think the title race is going to be very competitive. City, especially without Rodri, are vulnerable. Arsenal look decent, but not quite the finished article, and they don't have a big goal scorer up front. Liverpool have surprised me with how good they are. I think they're definitely going to compete. I think the top 4 race, I think Villa are going to be there. Spurs probably going to be there. Chelsea have looked a lot better than I expected, but I'm interested to see how they do against tougher opposition. Are United in that conversation for the top 4? Not at the moment. And then at the relegation zone, Wolves, they've been really poor. Southampton don't look great. I think those 2 look like the favourites to go down. And then you've got teams like Leicester and Ipswich, who aren't great, but they've got something about them. So I don't know. Wolves look really bad at the moment. And West Ham. West Ham have really been bad. Like, they made some really good signings, but I guess Julian Lopetegui's not the man. But I don't think they'll be in a relegation battle, because I feel like they will get a new manager in. And Everton as well, I think they're going to be down there. They've not had a good start to the season, have they? Will Sean Dyche be there at the end of the season? Who knows? But I think they will be the teams down there. Not West Ham. I think West Ham will probably end up finishing like mid-table-ish. But that's my sort of roundup of Man United in particular, but also like the Premier League over the last couple of months. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to go watch my prediction video to see how silly I look. And until next time, this has been another Tom Talks.